Welcome to my recap of Fat Man, a Christmas tale of a disappointed child who hires a hitman to kill Santa Claus. Enjoy. A spoiled rich kid named Billy writes a letter to Santa before heading to the science fair he's won 4 years in a row. But first, he's disappointed to find out from his grandmother that his dad will not be coming today. At the fair, he's disappointed again when he only wins second place. So, like any 12-year-old, he tells his driver to contact their go-to assassin. Meanwhile, the assassin, Jonathan Miller, works on a side hobby. He buys and collects toys marked Made in Santa's Workshop. Then, after completing a job, he accepts Billy's latest gig targeting Christine Crawford, the winner of the science fair. That night, Billy heads to the basement where Miller has taken the girl captive. Then, Billy threatens to torture her, unless she gives up first prize by claiming to the judges that she actually cheated. In North Peak, Alaska, Santa Claus, or Kris Kringle, is disgruntled. The US government pays him to deliver toys to well-behaved children, and with good behavior on the decline, Santa finds himself delivering fewer toys and more coal, which means less income for him. As a result, he and his wife Ruth can barely afford to pay the bills. So when Captain Jacobs visits and offers that the military would like to procure Santa's services, Kris listens. Hesitant to work with them, he tries to offer his factory's services to others, bidding on everything from Pez dispensers to mainframes. But with everyone outsourcing these days, he can't find any work. So he grabs his list of children and leaves the house in a huff to make his meager gift deliveries. When Ruth asks him why he's so upset, Kris replies,
"Because I failed."
The next morning, Billy excitedly opens a box left by Santa, and in it finds coal. The boy runs outside and vows revenge. Billy calls Jonathan Miller and gives him his next job.
I'd like you to kill Santa Claus.
It'll be tough, but Miller takes the job. Like Billy, he also has a grudge with Santa, as when he was a child, he too was let down by Kris Kringle. Meanwhile, at North Peak, Kris tends to a gunshot wound inflicted by kids messing around with a deer rifle. Then he calls his contact and accepts the military contract. Ruth checks on his wound, but Kris assures that it'll heal in the usual way. But his spirit is broken. He wonders if it's time to hang up the coat. No one cares about a silly, fat man in a red suit anymore. But Ruth points out it's not just them that's changed. Kris has too, and he accepts that she may be right. She assures him that he still has it, and he responds,
"All I have is a loathing for a world that's forgotten."
Elsewhere, Miller searches for Kris Kringle and doesn't have much luck, until it occurs to him that the post office must know the man's location. He approaches a postal worker and learns that letters to Santa are kept in a special bin. Where do they go after that? The man doesn't know, but his supervisor Wayland would. So Miller kills the man, then steals his truck and uniform. At the post office, he holds Wayland at gunpoint and demands the fat man's location. Wayland writes down the P.O. box where he brings the letters, then Miller kills him too. After that, he gears up for battle. At Santa's factory, Kris addresses his worker elves. He tearfully explains that as they prepare for next year's Christmas, they won't just be making toys anymore, but military equipment too. Captain Jacobs takes over the operation, cutting off the bells from the elves' shoes, as they would set off the new metal detectors he's installing as part of many new security measures. As the soldiers get to work assisting in the operation, they are impressed by Santa's superhuman strength. They're also impressed with the elves' efficiency and Ruth's cookies. On the highway, Miller and his pet hamster make their way towards Santa, who is currently visited in the reindeer shed by 2 suits from the military. Kringle shows a supernatural ability to know their names and some of their backgrounds, even before any sort of introduction. The 2 men offer to make the military contract annual, but Kris insists it will be a one-time deal. At a gas station, Miller spots a kid playing with a toy from Santa. "You must be a good kid," Miller observes. "You know what I got for Christmas when I was your age?" he asks. He pulls up his sleeve to show the cigarette burns on his arm. Then he buys the toy plane for $150. At the factory, Jacobs continues to be surprised by what he observes there. The elves somehow sustain themselves on only simple carbs and sugars. Plus, they only sleep for 20 minutes at a time, once every 8 hours. And they live much longer than humans. At the barn, Santa lets his frustrations out on a punching bag, while Ruth quietly leaves some folders out behind him. Photos of the children whose lives he's touched over the years. Chris tearfully goes through them. Reinvigorated, Santa thanks his wife. At the North Peak, Alaska post office, Miller asks for Kris Kringle's contact info, but the man doesn't have any. He explains that Chris just comes in every couple of days to check the P.O. box. Though Miller does learn from a passerby that Santa drives a red Ford.
Say, does Chris still drive that green Chevy?
Red Ford.
Right. I meant Ford.
Later, Miller spots the red Ford outside the post office. He tries taking a shot, but a truck blocks the view. He drives after Santa, then chases him by foot as they approach the factory. Santa goes in while Miller observes the guards at the gate. Elsewhere, little Billy receives an apology note, awarding him first prize after Crawford lied and admitted she cheated. At the factory, Miller grabs his weapons and prepares to enter the hideout. Inside, Kris Kringle apologizes to his wife for being so stressed lately and not being enough of a partner to her, and they make love. At the gate, Miller shoots his way through the guards. He gets into the factory and is spotted by one of the elves. He takes cover and exchanges fire with the military personnel while the elves run for safety. Hearing the chaos over his radio, Chris leaps from bed and grabs his guns. He meets Miller outside and they stare each other down from a distance. Santa, of course, knows him.
Jonathan Miller, you twisted child.
And I always thought you forgot about me.
Jonathan pulls out a small toy police car, saying it's the only goddamn thing Santa ever got him, even after all the times he wrote him. "I'm sorry, son," Chris says. "There are limits to what I can do. I couldn't replace your parents." Miller disregards the apology.
I've come for your head, fat man!
You think you're the first? You think I got this job because I'm fat and jolly?
They stare at each other, then fire as both run for cover. Chris is hit in the torso and Miller in the shoulder. While Miller is distracted by the wound, Chris manages to get close while staying hidden. Then the gunfight becomes a fistfight, until Miller stabs Chris in the chest and shoots him in the head. As Miller takes in what he's done, Ruth shoots him in the back, and he returns the favor, but she still manages to get back into the cabin. Miller follows her in, and she shoots him. She leaves the dead man behind and tends to her husband. The elves surround them. Suddenly, Chris breathes, and Santa lives. At Billy's home, he overhears his grandmother on the phone discussing the recent discovery of money missing from her account. Money which she doesn't realize Billy has been stealing. So to avoid being discovered, he poisons her milk. Then he's interrupted by Ruth and Chris. His name was written in Miller's notebook, so they tracked him down. Chris tries the milk and tastes the fentanyl in it. Then he admits that Billy's moral decline is partly his fault, as Santa just hasn't been himself lately. But he's going to turn things around. He's decided to be proactive from now on, starting with Billy. Ruth drags the boy closer and shows him the wound on Chris's face. Santa tells the boy how Miller, like Billy, thought he lived outside of morals and consequences, and now he's dead. "One more time, Billy Wennon," Santa says.
Once more, you'll be getting more than coal in your stocking.
If he hurts anyone again, including his grandmother, Christine Crawford, or anyone else,
I'm coming back.
And he adds,
The fat man's got his eye on you, kid.
Billy cries and nods. Back at the factory, Chris watches his elves repair the damage done by Miller and optimistically tells his wife that they're going to rebuild things, bigger and better than before. Thank you for watching this recap, and if you enjoyed it, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more. Also, make sure to let me know in the comments if there are any other movies you'd like me to recap. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next recap.